So we're finishing up here in Austin at IKKiCON. I think the polls are still going to be open, but the conclusion, like Saturday night, the agrees ran away with it. So we'll take more votes, but the results are going to be hard to skew at this point, or hard to shift at this point. But this was your thing this time. You know what I mean? You were taking point on this. You're leading here, and I stood by your side as the vigorous defender of this particular topic. So tell me, when you came up with this topic, we know we had a hard time coming up with a way to word it properly, safely, on a sign, while making it clear and concise. So what did you think was going to happen when we first came up with this topic?
To be honest, I wasn't exactly sure how much response we would get at all about the topic, just because Voltron, I mean, yes, there's definitely a strong fan base for it, but it seemed to kind of been dying out, like maybe in the past year or so, like just seeing the number of cosplayers and everything. So I wasn't exactly sure how many people would, have an opinion, feel strongly about the show. So in that way, I guess I'm kind of gratified, because we definitely did get some strong opinions about Voltron.
So that's what we thought was going to happen. What did happen?
Yes. So my expectation was that we would get lots of commentary about the mecha design, and while we did get some of that, the most vociferous opinions about Voltron had to do with the, I guess I would call it just the shipping aspect of the show, and the relationships in the show, and like representation of of groups in the show, and of minorities in the show. Topics that I was completely unqualified, unprepared, and just I guess, yes, not ready for, because again, when I came up with this topic, it had just been something in my head that I always thought that the Voltron, the robot, when I'm watching Legendary Defender, and of course it has it's comedy, it's the whole crew, they did Avatar and Legend of Korra, they got their own style that they do, and they always have a lot of humor and lightheartedness. But in this show, there's definitely some serious stuff going on, and I always felt that the design of Voltron, the mecha, it just looks too silly. But people, yeah, that was
the 2 points at the top that we.
Yes, as with, we keep doing these things, we keep learning more and more about what makes a good sign, what makes a good topic, how to express that topic in a way that people can just grasp like that. And we really made a mistake by having on the sign saying the great plot, superb cast, and then awful mecha design. Because those first 2 bullet points, that was just a way to soften the blow of saying the mecha design was awful. That was just a way to show that, we like the show. We are fans of the show. We're not trying to start a flame war saying that Legendary Defender was awful or anything like that. We're just talking about the mecha. But what people really wanted to talk about was the plot, and specifically having to do with ships that they wanted to see happen, and again, the issues of representation in the show, that they were disappointed. Although some people, they were upset just kind of how the plot, especially Season 8, just how it turned out. What happened with Lotor, how I guess quickly everything seemed to resolve. So a lot of it was based on plot mechanics, but the strongest opinions definitely had to do with shipping and just representation of groups in the show.
So that was an early problem, right? But I think later, as the day went on, especially by like Saturday night, because I posted an update where the score was basically tied between agree and disagree midway through Saturday. And then Saturday night, the agrees on this topic ran away with it. And I can say, while we didn't have a lot of people committing to video, obviously, the agrees did eventually start to gravitate towards the topic itself, which was the robot, where they're like, yes, we think the robot looks silly. For whatever reason, a lot of people had different reasons. Some people A lot of people straight did not care. We got a lot of indifferent, like, oh, we don't care what the robot looks like. So there was a lot of people that straight didn't care. And eventually we did get to a point where the topic was starting to come out. People were less concerned about the other stuff.
The landmine.
The landmine. The landmine.
Those whole issues. Yes, that was definitely myself and Spazo here stepping on a landmine that we just completely walked into blind.
Which is fine. We can take care of ourselves, and we're more than prepared to speak civilly on any issue.
Right.
We just weren't. We were trying not to get away from the topic we came here with. Now, one person though did show up and really actually totally on point give you a run for your money. Right. And I think we already used the footage, so you don't have to talk much about it, but like now that you know about that particular one.
Right. We'll just call it the Gurren Lagann argument. Yeah, that was definitely a viewpoint that I didn't anticipate, that definitely threw me for a little loop, and it's definitely something it's always good to hear someone who disagrees with you and has, and they can explain it in an articulate way, and that they can maybe change your mind, maybe improve your thinking, because it's always a good thing not to get, caught up too much in your own thoughts, too much in your own head, your own perspective, because, we're all only human. We have our rational and, intellectual capabilities. We're all limited, so it's always good to hear different perspectives, and it was a good argument, and it definitely opened my eyes to a viewpoint that I hadn't considered, and that I was glad to hear. So the fact that I got taken to task, it was good. It was educational, pedagogical, perhaps.
Speaking of alternative viewpoints, I was a disagree from the very beginning. I kind of got this ball rolling because every other topic I have brought to a convention, I am the one who put it forward because I'm wearing the sign. I've got to do the most vigorous defense. I have gotten suggestions before where like, you should suggest this. And I was like, well, I can't defend that because I don't have a strong enough opinion on it. In this case, I said, that guy needs to come up with a topic for a sign, and this is the one he finally settled on. And I said, I'll defend it. I will go out there and I will defend this topic using the points you've described. Typical debate rules. With debate, you are expected to be able to argue for and or against any particular statement. And that's what I was prepared to do here. But I love the Voltron mecha design. I am a Power Rangers nut. I'm a mecha nut. I'm a transforming robot nut. I'm a Sentai nut. I am a Tokusatsu nut, and I love gaudy, over-the-top mecha, Zords, what have you. I love that stuff. But I took it as a challenge to go and try to, and man, did I convince a lot of people that this was a good statement. I was like, I would list the points. We came up with the slogans, like a little more Gundam and a little less Power Rangers, and a lot of people were like, you know what, you make a really good point, and I know I did that too. And so I was really excited to do it. It was very hard for me because I was like, oh man, I love Voltron. I'm sitting there, when we're done, I'm just like, you know what, I actually love it. I really love it, and I actually love the Lions for Hands. I know that's the big thing, but that's just me though. I'm a Tokusatsu nut. So, because of the pool we got dragged into, the landmine we stepped on.
And I would say, like, it just all came from, I guess, like, just not being aware of what the fan opinion about how the end of the show especially, but the overall, just some of those, just not being aware of those issues among fandom in the show. That's what we just hadn't really paid attention to that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why we fell into this. We didn't know what we were getting into when we just said, yes, great plot. It was unexpected.
But that's fine. We deal with unexpected. That's part of the fun. We don't want to go in there and just curate our entire day in this weekend. We're here to interact with people, learn stuff from people, and take something back that we didn't have when we started. Right. But of course, you mentioned the shipping, and that was a big deal. And I don't know if anybody's ever watched this channel before, but I did do a shipping topic at a convention, and it sounds like we're going to put our helmets on and make a sequel.
Indeed.
Because I think that's coming up. We're going to be doing shipping again. And
we'll try and do it in a little more thoughtful of a way, because the sign that we had at that convention, it was a little too aggressive, a little too negative, that I think was arousing some equally negative and equally, I guess, argumentative kind of responses. Whereas we're just trying to create open debate. We're not trying to say our side is right, that we need people to agree to us. We're not trying to convert people to our side. We're not zealots.
that's why we're so excited when we get a real convincing argument. You know what I mean? So, yeah, sequel. Get our helmets on and, take our Dramamine and just steady ourselves for that one. Is it Dramamine?
What?
The thing that makes you, like, it's like a depressant that helps steady you.
Is that what they took? Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember what it was called. It was something with a D, though. The medicine that you take in Metal Gear Solid 1 so your hand's not trembling when you're trying to kill Sniper Wolf and other people, because you can use a sniper gun for anything.
I'm going to put the score up when I get home. It's probably going to be included in this. I'm just going to edit in and out. To be continued.